Good morning friends. Welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In this video, I want to discuss about void pointer in detail. So I request everyone to watch the complete video. First let me define what is a pointer. Pointer is a variable which stores the address of another variable. Let's assume that you have declared an integer pointer. The integer pointer can hold the address of an integer variable. Similarly, a float pointer can hold the address of a float variable only. So what I want to say is that the corresponding pointer can hold the address of the corresponding data type variable only. Let me discuss with a simple example. Let's assume that you have declared an integer pointer and an integer variable and assigned the value 5 to it. Now in memory location of 100th byte, the variable n will be created and stores a value 5. Similarly, a pointer p, which is an integer, will be created and in the memory location of 200 byte. Let's assume that you are running this program on a 32-bit compiler. You know that in a 32-bit compiler, the integer variable will occupy 4 bytes of memory. So, this variable n will be there in the bytes of 100 to 103 byte, but however we will specify the starting byte only. Now look at this one. If I write the statement as p is equal to ampersand n, what is the meaning? The address of the variable n I am assigning to the variable p. Now the address of the variable n is 100. It will be stored in the variable p, which is an integer pointer. So this pointer is pointing to this variable n. If you want to know the value which is there in the variable n, we can do in two ways. One is that we can write a statement as printf %d n. Then also whatever the value is there in this variable n will be displayed as an output. So it will give the value as 5. If you want to access the value which is there in the variable n with the help of the pointer p, then how we will write? We will write a statement as printf %d. I will use the dereference operator and then variable name p. Now what will happen is that as you are using a dereference operator, what is this p consists of? P consists of address 100. So it will go to the 100th memory location and whatever the value is there, that value will be displayed as an output. So even this printf will display the output as 5. So this is about the pointer. Now let me discuss about void pointer. Now as the statement I have written here, the void pointer is defined as it is a pointer which has no associated data type with it. Look at here, it is a pointer which has no associated data type with it. So how can we declare a void pointer is that we can use a keyword called void and then pointer name. Is it clear? This is the way you can declare a void pointer. Let's take that I have declared a integer variable and assigned the value 5. Let's assume that in some 200th byte address, the variable n has been created and assigned a value 5 and some variable p has been assigned with value 300, meaning is that it is there in the address location 300. That is what I want to say. If I write the statement p is equal to ampersand n, then what will happen? The value of the address, which is ampersand n address, which is 200, that address will be stored in the variable p. Now if you look at, I can access the value n by writing the statement as printf %d n. That is okay. But now I want to access the value of variable n, which is 5, with the help of the pointer. If I write the statement like this, printf %d, if I write dereference operator and the p, then it will give an error for you. Why it will give an error? Look at this one. This pointer p data type is not int, it is a void. If it is an integer pointer, it is giving the output. But as it is a void pointer, it has no associated data type with it. What I said, an integer pointer can only hold the address of an integer variable. But however, a void pointer can hold the address of any type of variable. But however, if you want to print the value, or if you want to access the value which is there in the variable n with the help of the pointer, you cannot write like this. It will give an error for you. Then how can I do it? We have to do the typecasting. That is what the point I have written here. The void pointer can point to any data of any data type and can be typecasted to any type. Now, what is meant by typecasting? We have two types of typecasting. One is the implicit typecasting and another one is the explicit typecasting. We are doing the type conversion. So, let me write the proper statement to print the value of 5 with the help of the variable p. I will write %d because it is an integer. Then what I will do is that I will do the typecasting and then I will use the dereference operator to access the value of the variable n. Now look at here, the name of the pointer is p, so I have written that one. It is a void pointer. Now, to which variable address it is having? It is having the integer variable address. So you have to convert this p to an integer pointer. So that's why I have done the typecasting. Once it is typecasted to an integer pointer, then we can access the value which is there in the variable n by using the dereference operator. So this is what we will call it as a typecasting. I hope you have understood. So it will go to the 200th memory location, okay, because p is consists of 200 value. It will go to the 200th memory location. Whatever the value is there, which is 5, that will be displayed as an output. If it is an integer pointer, we can do like this. If it is a void pointer, we have to do the typecasting. Is it clear? Based on what data type address you are assigned to it. If it is a float, then you have to do the corresponding float type conversion. Is it clear? I hope you have understood. Now you can ask me one doubt. Sir, you discussed about the normal pointers and you have discussed about the void pointer. Even in the normal pointers, we have declared it as an int and directly we have printed the value. But when you declared it as a void pointer, we are doing the typecasting. Why to declare it as a void pointer? Why should we do the typecasting? Now these void pointers will be useful for you in the dynamic memory location. In the dynamic memory allocation, we have the two types of functions. One is malloc and calloc. These two functions are useful for you to allocate the memory dynamically. Now once they allocate the memory, those functions does not know what kind of values the user will store. Am I right? So that's why they will be used with the help of the void pointer. So it will return a void pointer based on the user interest, what value he or she want to store, then he will do the corresponding typecasting. Let me discuss with a simple example for your better understanding. Already I have discussed in detail about the void malloc function and calloc function and free functions, but anyway for your understanding I will discuss. So as I said earlier, malloc function will be useful for you to allocate the memory dynamically. You will specify the size here, okay. So let's assume that you have specified here the 20. Then 20 bytes of memory will be allocated, okay, and then this function will return a void pointer. Is it clear? So this function will return a void pointer. If you want to do the typecasting, you are allowed to do the typecasting. So how you will do the typecasting is that if you want to store the integer variables, then you will declare an integer pointer, then you will do the typecasting to an integer pointer, and then you will use the malloc function, then you will specify the size here. Then what will happen is that if the memory is successfully created, the starting byte of this 20 bytes of memory will be assigned to the variable p. Meaning is that once this malloc function has successfully created 20 bytes of memory, let's assume that here you have specified the size is 20, then 20 bytes of memory will be allocated. Now this 20 bytes, let's assume that it is there from the 100th byte to 9 byte. Then the starting address, which is 100, will be assigned to the pointer p. So p will consist of 100. So which is pointing to this one. So that there we will use the void pointers, because this function will return a void pointer. Then we will do the corresponding type conversion based on what kind of values you will store in this block. If you want to store a float, then you will do the typecasting to the float. So this is about the void pointer. I hope you have understood about the void pointer. If you still have any doubts related to the void pointer, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.